Hej, hej, witam w kolejnym odcinku z Horizon Forbidden West. Ostatnio wróciliśmy do bazy. Mamy ostatnie przygotowania przed misją Gemini. Przed kotłem w zasadzie. I pomagamy Kotallo, także kontynuujemy ten wątek z ręką dla Kotallo.
Hey, Kotallo. I'm by the tremor tusk site, where we agreed to meet. Want to test that new arm of yours?
I'll be there shortly.
Okej, dobra, i nasz pan Kotallo się tu zjawi.
Thank you for waiting.
Maybe now you can tell me what we're doing here?
Not just yet. Follow me, please.
Dokąd my tu wejdziemy? Za Kotallo.
Someone's being awfully mysterious.
You took your sweet time telling me what you wanted to do to the bulwark. Consider this my revenge.
Czekać, bo jedną rzecz sprawdzę. Okej, mam tylko jeden taki łuk, którego używam. To jest czyściwoda i trucizna. Czy mam jakiś inny łuk bardzo rzadki, który używa czyściwody? Naprawdę nie mam innego łuku, który używa czyściwody, co się ten długi.
Fair enough.
No dobra. Dokąd nas tu Kotallo zaprowadzi? Czekajcie, gdzie my biegniemy? Tutaj. Tu nas nie było.
This is it.
What am I looking at?
Oh, you'll see. Come.
All right, talk to me, Kotallo.
I wish to test the arm on that.
Czy to będzie ognisty pazur?
It has menaced the valley for some time.
Ogniarz.
Killed more than a few of the Sky Clan. But no longer.
I'm honored to help.
Mógł sobie wybrać jeszcze łatwiejszego przeciwnika, nie? Kurde, Robocop. Adam Smasher.
After you. Let's see how this thing likes the taste of metal.
Czego ty nie lubisz? Ognia? Tfu. O, Matko Święta, tego się nie spodziewałem.
That's exciting.
Że on po prostu na nas skoczy jak szalony. To już? Już, dobra. A masz! Wyrwał mu serce.
Well, I think it's safe to say the new arm works fine.
Agreed.
Then why are you taking it off?
This is what I am now. What I overcame. Anything else feels wrong. Like a disguise. I'll use the new arm when I need it, but the rest of the time, I will simply be myself.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
You have my thanks for doing this with me. Here. Something to mark our victory.
Dobra, gdybym to wiedział, że to będzie taki krótki epizod,
I'll see you later then.
to bym zrobił to od razu.
Thank you, Aloy.
No ale okej. Tu nie będzie osiągnięcie, nie? Tak. No dobra. Ogniarz pokonany. Dobra, to nie było takie tragiczne, tylko... Dobra. Nawet za bardzo nie muszę dorabiać sobie amunicji. Dobra, to wracamy w takim razie do Alvy, no bo co? No bo... Tak, wróćmy do Alvy ewidentnie, chociaż czekajcie, wydamy sobie to punkty umiejętności, mam 5 sztuk, więc ja sobie je wydam... Okej, ta drzewka będzie pełna. Czyli tak, ta drzewka jest pełna. Zostają te kolejne.
I'll save this for a dyer.
No dobra, i teraz tak. Wracamy do naszej siedziby. Wracamy do naszej siedziby i pogadamy sobie z Alvą. To chwilę nam pewnie zajmie, bo Alva nam będzie miała parę rzeczy do powiedzenia standardowo. Zakładam, że bardzo dużo nam będzie miała do powiedzenia. Że ona dostała taką dawkę informacji, jakby Wikipedię miała zgraną na płytę, no to... Dobra. I teraz tak. Alva, czy on jeszcze tam chce o czymś powiedzieć, coś Kotallo? Chyba nie? No, nie ten pokój. Czy nie masz o czym?
Think we can talk?
You already know.
I bet people are curious about that new arm of yours.
None more than our Quen ally, I assure you. She couldn't wait to take it apart and figure out how it works. I gave her the data I used to build the thing, hoping that would satisfy her curiosity instead.
Good luck with that.
No dobra.
I should go get...
I will sharpen...
To idziemy do Alvy w takim razie, no bo co? Alva jest tutaj. No to już po prostu podskakuje.
Aloy!
Right to work, I see.
There's just so much. I mean, we knew of artificial beings that served the ancestors, but Gaia? Oh, she's amazing! And you, a true reincarnation of an ancestor. Genetically speaking, of course, not like the, late Sia. And there's
Ten
more
prezes był tak
ancestors
wkurzający.
out there, returned from beyond the stars. Of course, they're trying to kill us, which is not great. And Eric Visser is with them, which is disturbing. And then there's Hephaestus, and...
Okay. How about we take it one step at a time?
You're right. I also owe you an explanation for everything that happened at Landfall. Oh, and if you have a moment, there's something I could use your help with.
No dobra, to po kolei. Twoja rodzina.
You mentioned the reason
To
you
będzie
came
trochę
here
gadania.
was to help your family. Your sister...
Her name is Alika. Our parents are commoners, peasants, really. When I passed the divination exams, they were so proud. It brought honor to our family and increased rations. Only Alika begged me not to leave for the research academy.
Why? What happens there?
Alika knew that once you enter, you're not allowed to leave or see anyone, not even your family. Unless you can get special permission and an escort by an overseer.
It sounds harsh.
Like the focuses we keep, diviners are few in number, and the Empire is, well, fearful that outsiders will try to steal our knowledge. Last time I was allowed to see my family was just before our voyage here. Because of my position, I was able to get them refuge from the floods within the capital. But if our crops don't recover soon, they'll starve to death along with everyone else.
I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't come to that.
Czyli ci Quen to w sumie takie cesarstwo chińskie z tą wyprawą, izolacją i tak dalej. Ciekawe.
The ancestors, is that what your people call the old ones?
Yes and no. The ancestors are the greatest of the old ones. Those whose legacy taught us agriculture, medicine, warfare, leadership, and patronage of the science and arts.
The CEO called Elizabeth Sobek an assistant. What's that about?
Right. Well, any old one who has made minor contributions or worked extensively under one of the ancestors is called an assistant. That's how we thought of Sobek, until we met you. Our limited access to data past the late 2040s has obviously misinformed our view of the past.
No, tak delikatnie mówiąc, nie?
You said you owed me an explanation for what happened in Thebes. I'm listening.
Right. I'll start at the beginning with the CEO. He was an Imperial, the Emperor's nephew, in fact. As such, he sponsored many diviners to search the legacy for anything that might help the tribe, and himself. He took a special interest in anything related to Ted Pharaoh, whom we consider the greatest of the ancestors.
Ted Pharaoh, revered ancestor. That's tough to take.
I know better now, of course. Anyway, the diviners discovered that Pharaoh spent a great deal of time in San Francisco. In fact, many of the most important ancestors did. So the Emperor's nephew convinced him that an expedition across the ocean might solve our most pressing problems. If only we could find the right data in this fabled city. Perhaps we could roll back the floods and storms that threatened our people. The Emperor declared that all the tribe's resources be poured into this endeavor. Dozens of ships were built, scouting missions were dispatched, and the Emperor's nephew was named CEO, one who wields the legacy for the good of the Empire. The living embodiment of Ted Pharaoh, a renewer. It may seem strange now, but for a time, he carried all of our hopes. We really believed he would save us. We had no idea just how perilous the journey would be.
On chciał tego wszystkiego dla siebie, nie?
You said the expedition across the sea was more dangerous than you thought it would be. What happened?
We lost most of our ships to hurricanes, and scores of soldiers perished to hunger and disease. And that was before we even hit the coast. Once we landed, machines ripped our patrols apart, and we struggled to replenish our rations. There were bright spots, to be sure. We found Thebes and the greenhouse. But nothing improved the CEO's mood as his dreams of saving the tribe were slowly dashed. He became more and more obsessed with Thebes and what lay behind its door. And more convinced that the title of CEO was no mere honorific. You heard him, spouting nonsense about Pharaoh's essence and some kind of becoming. We knew these weren't the words of a sane man, but he was quick to put any who spoke out in front of a firing squad.
What a great guy.
The Quen are wrong about many things when it comes to the legacy. I can see that now. But what the CEO became was a complete perversion of what principled diviners stand for. The pursuit of truth. I'm sorry you had to endure his madness. I'm just glad it's over. For everyone.
No tak, finalnie się udało.
So, Bohai, your overseer. Will he run things better than CEO?
He won't execute people on a whim, if that's what you mean. But he's hardly a paragon of integrity. I can't tell you how many times he took credit for data in the legacy that I uncovered. The best thing I can say about him is that he can be trusted to always do what's best for him.
Yep, sounds about right.
No dobra.
Back at the greenhouse, you spoke of knowledge forbidden to your people.
Diviners are meant to seek out the truth in the legacy, and many Imperials sponsor them in the hopes they'll find something the Empire can put to use, thus gaining favor with the Emperor. But the Board of Overseers claims certain truths are detrimental to the stability of the Empire, like discovering one of our revered ancestors ended the world. That is why diviners are only allowed to
Tak, dlatego
access
obstawiam, że kolejna część może nas skierować dalej na zachód. Ciekawe, czy tak będzie.
Any heretical data can be contained and retrieved before it can spread.
What happens to diviners who break the rules?
I never had the courage to ask.
No dobra. Misja za chwilę.
You mentioned Eric Visser? How do you know about him?
The Zenith who tried to kill you? He is known to the Quen as the Protector. Combing through data related to his work led us to breakthroughs related to weapons and military tactics. Knowledge our rulers used to conquer and expand, to become the empire we are today. That's why he's one of our most revered ancestors. But based on your encounter with him, it appears he's even more ruthless than we ever imagined. Yet another distorted interpretation in the legacy.
No.
Well, at least you're piecing together the truth.
If only the overseers back home would do the same.
Beta mentioned other Zeniths. Tilda, Verbena, and...
No, Verbena nie żyje, nie?
I'm afraid I don't know anything about them. Whatever legacy they left behind, the diviners haven't recovered.
Must be strange to think that some of the ancestors your tribe reveres are still alive. And here on Earth, right now.
Yeah, it is. Part of me's curious to know who else besides Eric Visser might be among them. Maybe Nikita Arand? We call her the Spark. The legacy tells us she brought unlimited energy to the old ones. Or Sung Jiao, whom we call the Healer. It is said she found new ways to extend the ancestors' lifespans. But my curiosity fades when I think of how different our view of Visser was compared to the reality that you experienced.
No właśnie.
Perhaps it is better not to know.
I see you've been using your new focus.
It's been fascinating. So much better than the version the Quen have. What would have taken me years to sort through, like the database you helped me recover, with this, I've been able to establish search parameters to speed up the process. This could revolutionize how diviners analyze the legacy. That is, whatever part of it the overseers would actually let us study.
You wanted data, you'll find lots of it here.
A diviner has never had this sort of unsupervised access to archives such as this. And knowing you, I suspect there is much that would normally be forbidden held within them. But I was sent here to help you. I would be remiss to ignore any truth laid before me. Maybe it'll help the Quen find their way back to the path of truth.
Any more data catch your eye?
All of it? I have so much to study up on.
Lata mi to zajmie.
Years, actually. I'm particularly interested in the Odyssey. We knew the ancestors had made it to the moon. In fact, we theorized some of them had settled on it. But Sirius is way farther than that. And we thought journeying across the ocean would be the feat of a lifetime. The sheer calculations needed for space travel, it's overwhelming to think about.
Even so, the Quen are way ahead of other tribes when it comes to understanding this stuff. Where I grew up, everyone thought that stars were sparks that rose from a fire lit by the goddess to guide us through the night. I imagine you don't know anyone here that well yet, but they're a good group.
It's funny because
Godzinka. A, to nie tak źle w sumie jak na Far Cry'a. I darmowy dodatek.
Not
W
that you
sumie.
are the same person at all. I mean, you are, as in, you're both genetically Elizabeth Sobek. But even so, you're different.
We grew up very differently. But sometimes different is good.
Yes, of course.
I hope everyone's been treating you okay.
Oh, yeah, of course. They've
To
all
problem
been
jest taki, że nie oglądałem
extremely
Stranger Things, więc tak
welcoming. And they
nie do końca
share
wiem.
the knowledge they learn on their focuses with each other freely. It's refreshing. Back home, diviners can only share data with the
okay.
permission from the overseers.
Sounds restrictive and stifling.
Yeah, you are not wrong.
Have you spoken with Zoe at all?
A little bit, but I did hear her singing with Varl not too long ago. I don't think they noticed. Zoe seemed so free when she did it. Like every emotion she had was taking flight in song. And she looked happier because of it. I felt so dull and nervous in comparison.
You should ask Zoe to teach you sometime. About Utaru music.
Maybe.
If
Ale
you need
pogadamy.
anything before heading out to the cauldrons.
You have nothing to worry about. Gaia's explained your plan in detail, as expected from such an efficient AI. I've even received some very, succinct combat advice from Kotallo. You know, in case the Zeniths show up.
What kind of advice?
He, told me to run.
For now. We'll even the odds soon enough.
Cały Kotallo.
Anything new around here?
Kotallo showed me the schematics for his new arm. I recall reading about robotic limbs within the Legacy, but I never thought I'd see one in action. Technology like that would be treasured back home. Think of what it could do for injured workers or soldiers. But knowing the Imperial family, they would use it for different purposes. Their own.
Replacing body parts as they grow older. Like the Zeniths.
Exactly.
No dobra, questik.
You mentioned there was something you needed help with?
Yes. So, as I was sifting through data from the greenhouse, I found references to an old world system back in the Great Delta. It's called Leviathan. My people discovered it decades ago. A sprawling network of river gates and a labyrinth of underground tunnels. The Legacy revealed that the old ones used it to control flooding. But we've never gotten it to work. The whole thing is shut down. But the data from the greenhouse mentions the research facility where Leviathan was created. It's in San Francisco.
Another Pharaoh facility?
No. Leviathan was a project by Eileen Sasaki, another ancestor. So the Legacy tells us, anyway, if we can acquire that data, we might be able to fix the system back in the Great Delta. Every year, my sister gets terrified when the long rains begin. With Leviathan, maybe she won't have to be.
Okay. So, where in San Francisco is this facility?
That's the thing. The data doesn't say where, exactly. But one of our diviners has been exploring the ruins. He might know. Would you come with me? I have a feeling that wherever this facility is, well, you're much better at fighting machines than I am.
Ciekawe, co tam znajdziemy,
I'll
nie?
let you know when I'm in landfall.
Thank you, Aloy.
No dobra, udajmy się tam, sprawdzimy to w takim razie.
Before you do, is everything all right? It sounded like there was an issue with Beta and the mission.
Not anymore. We just needed to talk some things through.
To understand one another is to embrace truth.
No dobra.
And, like I said, I'll let you know when I'm in landfall. We'll find the data you're after.
I appreciate it.
Zabronione dziedzictwo. Zabronione dziedzictwo. Czy to gdzieś tutaj się pokazuje? Wróć do kupca. Czekajcie. Pokażę. A, to tutaj, dobra. To chodźmy tam od razu. Wywołaj Alvę. To może poczekać sekundkę. Sobie kupię to. Dobra.
Hey, Alva. I'm in landfall. Can you meet me here?
I'll be there as soon as I can. Aloy, I'm here. Had to sneak
No,
past
że jej się udało, nie?
way, but I made it.
All right. Ready to talk to that diviner?
Yes, he's right over there.
Diviner Alva, what are you doing back in landfall? And with the living ancestor?
We're looking for the Atbay Research Center, where Leviathan was developed. The legacy tells us it's somewhere in the city.
Alva mentioned you've been collecting data in the area. Do you know where it is?
Yes, I stumbled across it, but there was no data there, only crumbling ruins.
Ta.
Tell us anyway. We might be able to find
No
something
pewnie nie
in this.
widział tego.
Please, don't trouble yourself. I assure you, our search was very thorough.
You're hiding something.
What? That is absurd. A diviner must only speak truth.
Dobra,
as you're
kolego, gadaj,
well
gdzie to
aware.
jest.
Oh, you're worried you found something dangerous. Something compromising on Eileen Sasaki?
Keep your voice down.
Look, I get it, Nirik. You want to make it back to your family, so it's safer to turn a blind eye. But think of Leviathan. How it could help everyone. Isn't that why we're here? Don't let fear deny us that.
Very well. The facility's just south of here along the shore. But even if you find a way to fix Leviathan, it's sure to be shrouded in that which is forbidden.
Too often the truth is forbidden.
Nawet zachód jest zakazany. No dobra, to idziemy na południe.
Let's go.
Jezu, musimy za nią biegać. Nie możemy po prostu czekać na południe wzdłuż wybrzeża. Tutaj nie byliśmy, nie? No ale dobra. A to tutaj, dobra. No ale dobra. Szkoda, że nie możemy się teleportować, byłoby dużo szybciej. Czy tak mam wstawiać, że to tam, ale... Zaraz się okaże. Jak widać, jak biega po
Not
tych
bad with that diviner back there.
checkpointach.
We've come a long way since we first met.
And Nirik's like I used to be, terrified of a misstep. And with the overseers, he has every right to be. But what I've seen and learned since the green...
Tak z ciekawości, czekajcie. Statystyki. Czas gry 65 godzin. Czy jest tu gdzieś napisane, jakie mamy te? Pociąg, jak się nazywa? Nie wiem, bana? To tak jak po niemiecku? Tak bym obstawiał.
It's so much more than what we're permitted. Diviners are supposed to seek the truth, and yet so much is kept from us.
Raczej nie chodzi o ten... No, ciuchcie.
We need to find a way in.
Poszukaj danych w ruinach, czyli to nie jest to miejsce. Na A. Kurde. Tak teraz myślę.
Up here. Well, Nirik wasn't lying about crumbling ruins, at least.
No są inne. A, są te ruiny, dobra.
Let's look around.
Aloy, why is the ground shaking?
That's not good, whatever it is.
Whoa, that thing is huge!
Should be slow going, Alvie. We'll have to take it out if we want to find that data.
Bardzo niedobrze.
Okay. I'm with you.
No tak bym powiedział, bo to tak zazwyczaj gdzieś mojej babci się zdarzało mówić, ale... Koleżanko, ty mi pomóż, a nie... Niedobrze. To nie, to w Poznaniu, czy tam w Wielkopolsce tramwaj to bimba. Więc Podobnie, ale nie do końca. A, nie mam amunicji. Dobra, uderzenie z tego. Nie, fajnie. Nie. Ale mis... się musi ruszać, no. No 2 razy nie trafiłem. No nie wierzę w siebie. Nie potrzebuję help, ale... Dobra. Potrzebne było mocne przyłożenie po prostu. Okej.
We should be able to look around for that data now.
Dobra, szczepów mam zapas. Pobiegajmy, pozbierajmy te rzeczy. Bo mnie trochę przetrzebiło w kwestii zapasów. A lepiej mieć więcej. Lepiej mieć więcej niż za mało.
Not getting in this way.
Might have collapsed when that slither thing came in.
Oj, mogło się zawalić, ale po kolei. Zbierajmy te rzeczy, które tu są, bo one się przydadzą. Chłodziwo, no, tak średnio powiedzmy, ale... Tu jest w ogóle jaka ma broń w sobie z ciekawości, bo ja ją odstrzeliłem. A. Takie coś. Tu jest też skrzynka. Nie, to nie skrzynka. Tylko zaawansowane ogniowe strzały myśliwskie, które nam rzuciła Alva. O, tego potrzebowałem. Tego potrzebowałem do dominacji. Nawet się dobrze składa. Bo im więcej będę miał teraz zebranych rzeczy, tym potem będzie mniej latania za tym wszystkim. I teraz czekajcie. Tu byłem. Gdzieś tu widziałem jeszcze jedno miejsce, gdzie ewidentnie było coś schowane. Chyba to jest przejście. No to poczeka. Tu jest też coś, co można wyrwać w ogóle. Więc... To jest... Złoto, złoto, złoto.
Well, I'll stay here. That looks a little iffy to me.
Zbity grynszpano. Dobra, chodźmy tam. Do tego wywietrznika. Do czego mi to zaprowadzi, to przejście?
Time for a swim.
At least the water's not freezing. Look at this place. I always try to imagine what it must have been like back when the old ones were here.
It's less of a climb, I bet. Come on, let's check the upper floors.
Jak tu wejść do góry? Łaskawe gro... A, tędy. Nieważne.
You okay?
On every expedition, the soldiers would lay down walkways and barriers first to protect us.
Nie wiem, jak będzie
survivors.
cieplej.
But
I będzie czas w
this is
weekend.
actually kinda fun.
Przede wszystkim. Bo z tym twoim czasem w weekend to jest tak, wiesz... Rzecz dość deficytowa.
Console.
Must have been what Merrick found.
Let's see if it has anything on the
Co
Leviathan.
my tu mamy? Holoprojektor.
Oh, the data on Leviathan isn't here. But there's some kind of log.
Delete the database. But Miss Sasaki, when you look at the reports, 3,000 exhibiting
No,
symptoms,
zobaczymy.
400 dead. The data's clear. Omarama is contaminating the water supply, promoting bacterial growth. And with Leviathan based on the same architecture,
You're a smart kid. Top of your class, right? My father built this company thanks to world-class talent like you.
Nie wiem
And
jeszcze.
you know what else is
Musimy pogadać.
world-class?
Co z majówką?
Our legal team. So unless you want to spend the rest of your career in some dead-end, underfunded public research institute, you'll delete that database and forward all data on Leviathan to my office.
yes, ma'am.
That was her. The ancestor. Eileen Sasaki. Hundreds dead. And she knew their system was to blame, but she had the truth erased. Were all the ancestors like this? Selfish, ruthless, immoral? And yet we hold them up as paragons of enlightenment and virtue. Given what we've learned, I don't even know if Leviathan will work.
Hold on. Let's not give up just yet. You said before that the old ones use Leviathan to control flooding. Which means it probably worked.
No, tylko może nie tak jak powinien działał.
The recording mentioned a copy was sent to Eileen's office.
To their corporate headquarters. There.
Okej. Do tego dużego budynku.
Let's go. It shouldn't take us long to get to the tower.
Lead on.
No, pani prowadzi, dokładnie. Kurde, nie mogę tych strzał odrywających robić, bo nie mam z czego. No ale dobra, chodźmy, chodźmy.
So what was that other system the recording mentioned? Omu Ramba?
The legacy tells us it was the predecessor to Leviathan, a system that manipulated floods to bring life to a barren desert.
Quinn seemed to know a lot about this ancestor.
Diviners spent years trying to figure out how to restore Leviathan. We found a lot
Przez co my tu będziemy przebiegać? A,
of data on Eileen Sasaki in the process.
ale wcześniej to nie było znaku zapytania.
Now I wonder how much of it is actually true.
Entrance is blocked. Gonna have to find another way in.
The soldiers built a path on the nearby ruin. Might be able to cross over from there.
Lead the way.
No dobra, za tobą. Nasza odważna koleżanko. To jest to miejsce, w którym ja wchodziłem częściowo. O, matka ona wyskoczyła strasznie. Aż jestem w szoku. No i tutaj byliśmy częściowo, tylko nie w tej części budynku.
I think this is as far as our soldiers got.
O, wcześniej tego nie było.
We'll have to climb higher to get into the tower.
I'll follow your lead.
Wcześniej tego nie było. A to nam otwiera nowe możliwości, jakby nie patrzeć.
Up we go!
Up we go! No nie do końca tak. Pani dyrektor Sobek. Okej, do góry trzeba tu iść.
You doing okay, Alva?
Yes! Don't worry about me.
Alwa o dziwo nadąża za nami. Tego bym się nie spodziewał. Ale! A ile się to musi popisywać.
Glintalk. Great.
Did it see us?
I don't think so, but we'll have to be careful.
How are we going to get across?
Well, that beam looks promising. Shut that machine down quick with shock ammo.
Dobra. Będziemy gotowi na spotkanie z nimi. Za mało echowników tutaj.
This is a lot higher up than I thought.
Hopla. Jezu, już myślałem, że zlecę na dół. Na szczęście nie.
Glintalks. Well, we have the element of surprise.
Or we could sneak by and, you know, not fall off the tower.
There. No more Glintalks.
I've heard our soldiers say the Glinthawks are the worst.
Nie, spadł. No i teraz z mojego lutu.
Up this way.
Fajna muzyka. Dobra, wysoko wchodzimy. Na sam szczyt, jak zakładam.
Aloy! Really high off the ground.
Oj, jesteśmy. Będziemy pewnie jeszcze
You can
wyżej.
do it, Alva, okay? Just don't look down.
Nie patrz na dół, tak.
Right! Of course! Super easy!
The tower.
Siedziba
Be able to
Atbay.
cross over, but we are going to have to jump.
Aloy!
I'm okay.
Dobra, to są gruzy do wyciągnięcia.
There's some of that debris first.
Więc po kolei.
Should be able to get to the other side.
Jak do tego doszło? Jak do tego doszło? Przecież skoczyliśmy.
There's the tower. Should be able to cross over. But we are going to have to jump.
After you! Aloy!
I'm okay.
Okej, trzeba było z rozpędem to zrobić.
Made it. Okay, Alva, your turn.
Tak.
Right. Yeah.
Better make sure Alva makes it across.
Can
We're
you
gonna take a
watch
look at
me
this.
and make sure I do this
No
right?
czekajcie, musimy po nią złapać, co?
Come on, Alva. You can do it. It's okay.
Ona pewnie jak skoczy, to od razu na 20 metrów.
Please don't break.
Dawaj, 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 koleżanko. No.
Alva!
I'm okay. Wow. That would have been a long way to fall.
Oj, byłoby. Dobra. Co my tu mamy? Jest
You sure you're okay?
przypomnienie kodu z resetowania.
I'm fine.
Panie Hale, bezpieczeństwo IT chciało ponownie przypomnieć, że wprowadzenie bezprywatnego kodu w polu przypomnienia nie spełnia standardów bezpieczeństwa. W związku z tym kod został zresetowany ponownie. Prosimy o wybranie odpowiedniego przypomnienia.
Let's keep going.
Oh, door's locked. I think it needs a passcode. Huh.
Okej. Po co mi przypomnienie kodu, jeśli nie podaje mi kodu? Kiedy następnym razem będę próbował przygotować konferencyjną pod spotkanie zarządu i zostanie zablokowany przez głupi kod, to będzie wasza wina. Chcecie bezużytecznego i niepomocnego przypomnienia? Dobra, data założenia Atbay, miesiąc i rok. Lepiej wam, głąby z IT?
This says the code is the month and year the company was founded.
According to the legacy, it was October 2023.
Czyli 10, 20, 23, tak? 10, 20.
So got it. So the company was founded in October.
Which is the 10th month of the year.
Maybe the data on Leviathan isn't here.
No to nie była zbyt wymagająca zagadka.
Cost reduction strategy. We're talking about people's lives here. I did as you asked on Omuramba, but this is worse.
Relax, Eileen. I've spoken with risk management. They're confident that the chance of another incident is within acceptable parameters. We're moving ahead with Leviathan.
You know, Dad, shortcuts have a way of catching up with you. Within acceptable parameters or not.
Czyli to Alien nie była zła, ale ten
One day in the
ojciec.
distant future when you're in charge, you can run things how you want. But until then, how about you let me worry about that?
Guess Eileen and her father didn't always get along. But it seems like covering up Omuramba wasn't her idea.
Doesn't matter. She still had a part in it.
Well, let's keep going. Her office must be higher up.
Dead end.
Dobra,
There's a ladder
słyszę.
in the shaft, but it's blocked.
We might be able to pull the rubble out from the other shaft. Let's see where this leads.
Ale widok.
You go on ahead. I'll look for a way up that has a lesser chance of falling to my death.
Dobra, tutaj gdzieś pewnie będzie opcja. No, gdzieś tu słyszałem ten grynszpan. Tu co? Nie uchwyt. W ogóle soundtrack jak z tego, jak z Origins, a nie... Po co tu opcje zaskoczenia? A. Można sobie zrobić tutaj długi skok po prostu. W dużym skrócie. Dobra, ja tu muszę iść tędy.
Hey, Alva?
Yes?
There's something I don't get. You said Eileen was the one who built Leviathan, not her father, so... What
Było
happened?
blisko.
I'm not sure. The legacy doesn't say. Either that knowledge is lost or forbidden.
Nie.
Maybe you were wrong about that too.
Kochana gro. Przeteleportowała mnie z powrotem. Po prostu. No co jest? Dlaczego nie mogę przeskoczyć normalnie? Halo? Ja rozumiem, że to nie jest takie super łatwe.
You see anything?
O, kolejne ognisko z góry. Tego się nie spodziewałem, żeby aż tyle miejsc jakby checkpointów. Ja rozumiem, że zagadka wspinaczkowa i tak dalej. O, Matko Święta. Nie.
Are you doing okay, Aloy?
No jakoś sobie radzimy, no.
It's just a long way up.
Tak, long way up to jest dobrze powiedziane. No dlaczego? Ja nie złapałem tego. Na szczęście działa... Nie mam pytań, nie?
How about you, Alva? Any luck finding a way up?
Not yet.
Matko Święta razy 2. Dobra, ale jesteśmy u góry. To się tylko liczy.
That's done with.
Atbay. Już powinno być ognisko, nie? Czy gra mnie wybitnie troluje?
Okay, I'm back at the shafts. If I blow up that fire gleam, the elevator might fall and open up a path for Alva. Hey, Alva? Step away from the shaft.
Whoa! Oh, I can reach the ladder now. Be right up, Aloy.
Looks like there's another floor above. Might be
A, tu
Eileen's
jest
office.
przejście, dobra.
Okay, I'll meet you up there.
I'll hook onto that.
Chcę mam zestrzelić? Przepraszam bardzo. Czy ja tutaj mam...
Made it!
Nie, to ewidentnie da się otworzyć. Ale to może nie teraz. Tylko mam iść do góry, tędy. Dobra, dzień dobry.
Come on.
Ja to zapiszę dla bezpieczeństwa. Kurde, ile tu włażenia.
Another locked door. Need to figure out the passcode.
These artifacts.
Maybe try my
I think
focus.
these were Eileen's. It's every diviner's dream to discover even one of the ancestors' artifacts.
Dron
Maybe
konstrukcyjny.
it'll help with the door. This looks like some kind of prototype.
For water purification. Must be the H2 flow.
What?
H2 flow. Their early inventions had strange names.
Czy ja mam iść jeszcze wyżej? Pewnie muszę wejść wyżej jeszcze. No chociaż chyba nie bardzo. Dobra, tu chyba nic nie ma. Kod tu jest dość długi. Więc nie.
Could use my focus here.
No to wiem, że możemy użyć fokusa.
That must be the Dragonfly 6. Atbay used it in most of their construction
Ważka 6,
projects.
dobra.
The Dragonfly 6 was their most successful model.
To jedźmy tu po kolei.
Oh, that must be the Larson McCory Award. The legacy says Eileen won it when she was 40
O,
for her work on
zobaczymy.
Leviathan.
Interesting. What was this thing again?
The H2 flow.
42.
It's art, I think.
Could it be? Yes, I think this was commissioned in honor of the company's 25th anniversary.
42, 25, 6. Próbujmy. 42, 25.
That didn't do anything.
Nie.
I thought that would have worked.
To jeszcze raz.
We overlook something?
How old was Eileen when she won this award?
40.
To akurat dobrze, nie?
All the numbers you mentioned. I wonder if they make up the passcode.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
40, no.
What was the name of this thing?
The H2 flow.
The two artifacts on the ground. Maybe they used to be on opposite pedestals.
Czyli, że 6. 6, 25. Co tam było dalej? Potem było 2. 40.
Not quite right.
Mam te cyferki, w jakiej to kolejności powinny być ułożone? No to jest kolejność.
Wonder if my focus can show me anything. What was this called again?
The H2 flow.
What was this called again?
The Dragonfly 6.
A czekajcie, 40. Potem było 2, 6.
That's
A,
it.
dobra, rzeczywiście.
You can almost see the whole city from up here.
Ola.
Corner office. Impressive view. It must have been
To z jej
Eileen's.
biura zostały
See
gruzy.
if the data on Leviathan is here.
No są takie dane. O, skrzyneczka tu jeszcze jest. Byłoby grzechem tego nie wziąć. No dobra, i holoprojektor. Cóż nam powie?
Well, it's official. Eileen Sasaki, CEO, chair, and worst daughter in the world. Security had to escort Dad to his vert. Guess we'll be speaking through lawyers from now on. Looking down at the world from here. It's hard to see the details. People become risk factors, statistics, far too easily. Omuramba was supposed to provide clean water, improve lives. It was easier to pretend there wasn't a problem. Easier to believe the lie was truth. But I don't want to pretend anymore. I will build Leviathan right. No more shortcuts. No more lying just to save face. It won't undo our sins. My sins. But maybe we can still do some good.
She overthrew her father, took over the company, so that Leviathan wouldn't end up killing people.
It sounded like she regretted covering up Omoramba's failure.
She wasn't perfect. Not a paragon, as the Quen believe, but not a monster either. She tried to make up for her mistakes.
And now you know the truth.
As for the data, Leviathan... yes.
No i mamy to.
It's here. Downloading a copy now.
Is something wrong?
I think I'll stay here a while longer. There's a lot more data that I want to look through.
Are you sure you'll be okay on your own?
Down is always easier than up. Let's speak again when we're back at base.
No i super.
I'll see you there.
Dobra, to skoczymy sobie jeszcze do bazy.
Well, after climbing all the way up, why not glide down?
Wait, you're going to what?
Just thinking about it.
Dobra, ile mam punktów umiejętności? 3. To chyba trochę za mało, co? Żeby kupić cokolwiek, gdziekolwiek, no za mało. Potrzebuję 5. No i dobra, zerknijmy sobie, czy tu jest jakieś miejsce, do którego mogę dolecieć i odkryć je, ale chyba nie bardzo. Trap się na wieżę. No to chyba nie ta, co? Nie, to ta.
Lucas might find something I missed.
Czekaj, co to za przysługa w ogóle? A to nie ta wieża chyba, co? To ta wieża, dobra, to jest inny quest, dobra, to nieważne. Dobra, to słuchajcie, ja dziękuję za... A nie, skoczmy do bazy. Dobra, już, żeby dokończyć tę questa z Alvą, odebrać nagrodę i będziemy gotowi na kocioł Gemini. Dobra, to chodźmy tutaj. Chodźmy tutaj do Alvy. I sobie skończymy ten odcinek, bo tak znowu wyszedł długi. W sensie wyszły w tym nagrywaniu już 2-godzinne odcinki, więc... Normalnie z tego byłyby pewnie ze 3 albo 4 odcinki, a nie 2 odcinki takie, ale no cóż zrobić. Bo tu jest... A nie, tego nie mogę otworzyć, dobra. Gdzie jest Alva? Tutaj. Nie, to Kotallo. Kotallo poczeka. Kotallo poczeka, tu jest Alva.
Aloy. Aloy. I'm glad you're here. I wanted to give you this for helping me get the
No i
data
pięknie.
on Leviathan. I didn't really know what to give you, so I asked Zoe what you might like.
Thanks, Alva. I'll put it to good use.
Tak, Tymek, dokładnie. Dokładnie. Dane dotyczące Lewiatana.
Have you looked through the data we recovered on Leviathan?
There is much to sort through still, but I believe we'll be able to get it operational and turn back the floods. And I've given more thought to everything we've uncovered about the ancestors. The overseers would have us believe they were infallible paragons. But Pharaoh wasn't. Not even close. His greed led to machines that devoured the world. The archive of the Old One's knowledge destroyed, just to erase his mistakes. So, when we learned that Eileen had a hand in covering up hundreds of deaths, I started to think they were all the same. Selfish, egotistical, cruel. But, in the end, it's not that simple.
No nie takie
Truth isn't a
proste.
straight line of ink on a crisp scroll. It's a splatter, smudged and faded on stained parchment. I wish more Quen could see that, instead of looking the other way or twisting the truth to serve their own schemes.
I doubt Bohai would agree with you.
No, nor the rest of the Board of Overseers. As Eileen said, it's easier to believe the lie is truth, but it's worth fighting for. And this diviner, at least, won't settle for anything less. For that, I thank you, Aloy.
No dobra.
I should go. Make sure you talk to Gaia if you have any questions about the pulse generators.
May your path lead to truth.
No dobra, to słuchajcie, zrobimy tutaj koniec odcinka, także obrończyni Utaru. Także ja dziękuję.
Around with my focus.
Dziękuję za oglądanie tego odcinka, trochę długi, ale no przynajmniej zrobiliśmy questy poboczne tutaj naszych towarzyszy. I co, słyszymy się w kolejnym odcinku, także dzięki za oglądanie, do usłyszenia, trzymajcie się, pa pa!